Hello everyone, and welcome to Film and Cinema Recaps. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the horror film Van Helsing. Are you ready? In an ancient castle, a scientist created a monster named Frankenstein, under the order of Dracula, lord of all vampires. But Dracula betrays him with the help of his own servant and bites down on his neck, ending his life. This angers the monster, who attacks Dracula and throws him into the fire. He carries his dead father, trying to escape the angry mobs, but ends up falling into the flames. Dracula arrives with his brides, only to find the aftermath of the carnage. They anguish in the realization that their plans have failed. 1 year later, a monster hunter known as Van Helsing tracks down the culprit of murders in London. He follows the tracks to an abandoned warehouse where a large human man appears. He is none other than Mr. Hyde, a monster with two personalities. Van Helsing wants to capture Hyde alive, but the monster does not make it easy for him to do so. The giant with his tremendous strength gets an upper hand against the monster hunter, but the tide soon reverses when Van Helsing catches him off guard by tricking him and chopping his arm off. The brute strength of Hyde proved to be inferior to the experience of Van Helsing, and soon he's thrown off the building and falls to his death. Helsing goes back to his organization, known as the Knights of the Holy Order, a secret society that fights evil since the beginning of mankind. The Pope assigns him another mission, this time against the Lord of Vampires, Dracula. Helsing must help the last descendants of the Transylvanian Knight defeat Dracula, as their ancestors have promised that their descendants will not go to heaven if Dracula is not vanquished. Only Valken and his sister Anna are left alive from the bloodline, while their father has disappeared a year ago. The Pope also gives Helsing a piece of map, and coincidentally, it's the symbol that is on his ring as well. Helsing goes to pack his gear, and Carl, who invents a bunch of stuff, but is odd and goofy at times. One of those things is a bomb that creates a bright light, which can be similar to the sun. Van Helsing tells Carl to accompany him in slaying Dracula, which the poor man refuses at first, but he has no choice, as it was ordered from the Pope. Meanwhile, Valken is tied up on a post, acting as bait to capture and kill a werewolf controlled by Dracula. Their plans don't really work out when the traps that they lay for the monster refuses to work. After much effort, they finally stop the beast by caging it temporarily, but Valken drops his gun with a silver bullet that's the only thing that can kill a werewolf. The men below fire blindly at the monster, but Anna tells them that her brother's gun, which no one else seems to listen, is the only way to stop it. She sees the gun and runs toward it, but the werewolf manages to break the ropes to his cage and tumbles down right on top of the girl. The monster breaks free and chases Anna. While she runs towards a cliff, the werewolf leaps towards her, but Valken pushes her away and fires his gun at the monster while knocking them both into the lake. Anna looks for her brother, but it's unlikely that he has survived. After a long journey through the land and sea, Helsing arrives at Transylvania with Carl and sees that the people there are not very fond of their presence. The people surround them with knives and pitchforks, and just when a fight is about to break loose, Anna arrives and stands before them. Helsing tries to offer his help to Anna in her vampire problems, but she refuses and tells her men to kill them. But before she can finish her sentence, the brides of Dracula attack the town in the middle of daytime. Helsing fires a barrage of arrows at the vampires, but seems to have no effects. Carl tells Helsing to aim for their hearts, but it's a little easier than said than done when the vampires are constantly running around and flying so quickly. They get a lucky break, however, when the sun moves out of the clouds and the vampires are forced to hide. But as soon as the clouds move back, the vampires charge towards Anna, lifting her into the air. Helsing saves her and hits one of the vampires with an arrow, and Anna runs to hide in the warehouse, but she gets herself in more trouble. As the vampires surround her in a closed area where nowhere to run, Carl tells Helsing to use his holy water against the vampire, and he rushes towards the church's fountain. He dips his gun into the water and fires it at one of the brides of Dracula. She gets impaled onto the rooftop, and her body slowly melts under the effects of holy water. Just when Anna is about to be sucked dry of blood, the vampire feels the death of her sister, and they run away to their castle. Dracula doesn't seem to be affected by her death, unlike her sisters. After living so long, he feels no fear, no love, no joy, and he will live like this forever. Dr. Frankenstein's servant, now serving Dracula, tortures the werewolf behind the curtains. Dracula has found another beast in which he could command to his will. They teleport to Frankenstein's castle, and they continue their evil plans. At night, Anna wakes up to some disturbances and finds something lurking in the shadows. She moves slowly in her high heels, trying to anticipate the attack at any moment. She looks up and sees a werewolf lunging at her. She fires her gun and runs in fear. The moon is blocked by the clouds, and the werewolf turns out to be her brother, Falcon. He tries to tell her about Dracula's secret plans, but loses control as the moon reappears. Again, Helsing arrives and fires at the wolf, which manages to make him retreat from the windows. He chases after it, trying to end its life, but Anna stops him, trying to protect her brother. Although that her brother is a monster now, she wants to save him, as he's the only family she has left. She also hears rumors that Dracula has a cure for the werewolf curse, so there is a chance of saving her brother. Her words move Helsing, and he promised to look for her brother together. They follow the werewolf's tracks and finds the Frankenstein castle. The two proceed inside and discover numerous egg sacs harboring the offspring of Dracula. Of course, they're all dead, as vampires cannot give birth to life. Dracula plans to rectify this by using Dr. Frankenstein's machines, coupled with Falcon as a conduit to give life to all his children. As the electric current runs through hundreds of egg sacs, numerous vampire hatchlings burst out and rain terror on the townspeople nearby. Helsing comes face to face with Dracula and tries to kill him in numerous ways, but nothing seems to work. Dracula hints that they have a long history together and calls him Gabriel. He offers Helsing his memories back, to which Helsing rightly refuses. Anna manages to find her brother and unstraps him from the experiment, but he tells her to leave as he turns into a werewolf uncontrollably. With Falcon gone as the conduit, the hatchlings begin to explode one by one, failing Dracula's experiment. Helsing finds Anna and they both escape towards the forest while Falcon chases behind, but drops it into the water. As a wire snaps, Dracula is furious that his plans have failed again and orders his henchmen to kill Helsing and Anna on sight. Troubled by the fact that Dracula seems to be unkillable, Helsing and Anna venture to a burned-down building and falls into an underground cave. Here, they find Dr. Frankenstein's creation, alive and well. He tells them to kill him as he's the key to the creator's machine, and Dracula will use him to give life to his hatchlings. Helsing refuses to kill Frankenstein, as he senses no evil in the creature. But their whereabouts were tracked by Falcon, and they must run. Now that Dracula knows Frankenstein is alive, they're attacked en route by brides of Dracula, and one of them manages to separate the carriage from the horse. As it tumbles down the mountain, she opens the door but finds nothing inside except for a trap set with spikes, which explodes and kills her by impaling her heart. Turns out that Anna prepared a second carriage, and the Helsing reunites with them on the horses. Their victory is short-lived though, as Falcon attacks them as well, which sets the entire carriage on fire. Helsing has no choice but to shoot the wolf with silver bullets, killing him in the process. Anna finds her dying brother and cries as her last family member leaves her in this world. She blames Helsing for his death, but finds that he's been affected by the wolf. She backs off in fear, but gets knocked unconsciously by the last bride of Dracula and taken hostage to a castle, while the group watches helplessly in the distance. Later that day, Dracula's bride finds the group and tells Helsing that Dracula wants Frankenstein and is willing to trade Anna for it. She tells them to make a trade in the festival, which Dracula is hosting. Helsing considers her offer and shoots Frankenstein with a sleeping dart. He hides the monster in a cemetery and heads towards the festival. Anna is controlled by Dracula's mind and forced to dance with him. She tells her that since her boyfriend has killed most of his wife, he will need a new bride right away, and he's about to bite down on her neck. Carl manages to distract him and save Anna from being bitten, but Dracula's henchmen manage to find the location of Frankenstein and has captured him already. Dracula tells all the vampires in the festival to attack them. and they're forced to run and jump out of a window. Carl manages to use the bug from before. His invention destroys all the vampires in the building. Helsing swears to rescue Frankenstein. As he's taken into the distance, they go back to Frankenstein's castle to look for clues about Dracula's whereabouts. Carl reveals that Dracula came from the same ancestor as Anna, but he made a deal with the devil to gain eternal life. His father wanted to atone for his sins, so he made a promise with God to slay his son before any of his families can enter heaven. He didn't have the conviction to follow through though, so he banished Dracula to a frozen castle with one-way door, but the devil gave him wings and he was able to return again. Helsing realizes that the map on the wall may be the door to Dracula's castle as a missing piece, which he received from the Pope. They complete the map, change the words on the missing piece, turning the map into a doorway, which they then proceed to enter. He doesn't have much time before turning into a werewolf as the infection spreads, but it also gives him incredible strength, which helps him to enter the castle of Dracula. They find Dracula's servant and interrogate him about his whereabouts and to find the cure for the werewolf curse. They also find out that the reason Dracula has a cure is because a werewolf is the only thing that can kill him. The servant promised to lead Carl and Anna to the antidote, while Helsing goes after Dracula to try to stop his experiment. Of course, they share a passionate kiss before they go their separate ways. Anna and Carl arrives at where the cure is, but is tricked by the servant, who locks them inside. Dracula's bride shows up to attack them, but Carl manages to escape after using the acid from the antidote to melt the door. Anna tries to defend herself, but the vampire is too strong and proceeds to toy with her like a big bully in middle school. Meanwhile, Dracula straps Frankenstein onto the machine and raises him into the thunderstorm. Helsing finds him and tries to get him off the machine, but a lightning strike hits and conducts the electricity to all of Dracula's children, reviving them in the process. Dracula transforms and attacks Helsing, knocking him off the building. A second lightning strike hits Frankenstein and sends him flying off the roof. He grabs onto the wires, and in the process of saving himself, he knocks Dracula's servants into oblivion. While hanging by a wire, Frankenstein begs Carl to help him. Carl hesitates, but decides to help him by throwing him into a window, which knocks Dracula's bride away from Anna. Frankenstein holds off the vampire, giving Anna a chance to escape through the window, and she catches the antidote for Carl. She doesn't make it as far though, as the bride of Dracula attacks her, knocking her over. The vampire proceeds to toy with her, which gives Anna the chance to drive a stake through her heart, showing that one really shouldn't play with her food. Dracula appears behind Helsing and tells him that it's too late to stop his plan. As his children have been granted life, the only way to destroy them all is to kill Dracula himself. The clock strikes midnight, and Helsing transforms into a werewolf, which frightens Dracula as it is the only thing that can kill him. However, the vampire is not going down without a fight, as he transforms into his true form as well. The two monsters fight furiously, but it's clear that Helsing has the upper hand. He grabs Dracula by the neck, and just when he's about to deal the finishing blow, the moon disappears behind the clouds. Dracula transforms back, feeling the danger is over. Dracula explains how it was Helsing who killed him many years ago, which prompted him to make the deal with the devil. He also wants his ring back, which Helsing wears on his finger. This explains why the symbol is the same one on the map to Dracula's castle. But the vampire's habit of playing with their prey gives Helsing another chance to transform. As the clouds clear, he lunges towards Dracula's neck and kills the monster once and for all. All the hatchlings also die as their father melts away. Anna sees Helsing in his beast form and tries to give Helsing the antidote, but is slammed down on the couch as he's lost all senses of self-awareness. Carl tries to stop Helsing with a spike, but fails as well. While distracted, Anna manages to inject Helsing with the antidote, but she succumbs to her wounds. Helsing cries in agony as he holds her in his arms. Helsing gives Anna a proper burial into flames as Frankenstein sails away to a place where he can live in peace. He turns around and sees that Anna and Valken are finally allowed to be in heaven. So guys, that was Helsing, Van Helsing. Tell me guys what you guys think about it and what movie you guys like to see next. Till next time.